So if you haven't already gotten a flavor of this, today's going to be, it's highly interactive. The intention of today is to do more telling, do more showing, sorry, than telling, and give you a flavor of what this feels like, the essence of this. And so our hope is we can show that essence and then share how we're packing this into our program. And you can see if this is something you want to vibe into, because this is your life. You get to choose what you bring into your space. So yeah, in short, kind of this is our essence. It's about leading with love and gratitude and curiosity and connecting to bring healing into our food systems, and then in general, just so into our lives. It's in pretty stark contrast to the current norms of leading with fear and seeing problems everywhere, telling everyone that we know better, and ultimately, just leading to this more divided, polarized world that we find ourselves in more places than not now. So a big part of this program is seeing from a different perspective, and do that kind of, we have to be able to see from a different perspective and kind of open up that gateway to see. And so one great way to do that is through breathing. Whether it's, we've got a lot going on in life, we're feeling stressed, breathing helps us get out of that fight or flight mode that, we're just focused on that thing in front of us, and helps us activate our parasympathetic nervous system and see from a different perspective. So I'm going to invite us to do some breathing together and just enjoy being present in this moment. And so some of us, I've said this 10 million times already. For the new ones, I want to share this. It's called box breathing. And so you can see it's literally the shape of a box. And we're going to breathe in for a 4 count, hold for a 4 count, out for a 4 count, and hold for a 4 count. It's really that hold at the top, the hold at the bottom, that's where a lot of the magic's happening. Okay. So we'll do 3 breaths together, and I'll guide us through it. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze. Just relax your shoulders, get cozy. When you're ready, breathe in. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. And out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. This last one at your own pace. Keeping your eyes closed, write yourself a permission slip for today. Just amazing people together, coming together, and how do you want to be in this space? What permission slip do you want to write for yourself? Ready? Open your eyes. So let's see what unfolds. So part of the way, how do we do this? And welcome, Gabby. Hi. So how do we go about this in this space, and kind of seeing from this different perspective? We go about it through gratitude-based learning. And so gratitude for the ripple effects that we see unfolding, and getting really curious about what's unfolding there. And so rather than talk more and more about that, I want to invite us to try this out. So what we're going to be doing is going into breakout rooms here. And what I invite us to do is to explore the ripple effects of what brought you here. Like, I'm so glad that whatever it was brought you here into this space, but you can go back as far in life as you want to. But you'll be with one other person, and depending on numbers, maybe 2, but yeah.
There's 2 in each room.
Okay, perfect.
Oops.
And share the ripple, like what are the ripples that brought you here, and get really curious. See, we're gonna have 4 minutes together, and I know it's not like there's never enough time for these things, but just see how many ripple effects we can discover, and get really curious with one another about how this came to be. Okay.
Okay. So sending you out. So you get to stay here.
Here we are. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see if Gabby comes back.
All right.
So I couldn't send you out if if she wasn't on the call.
There she
she
is.
Hello, Gabby.
Hello.
Hi. Hold on. I've spotty service.
Oh,
Oh, there we go.
right.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear
Yes,
you.
we can.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'll keep my video off though.
All
No
right.
problem. No problem.
All right.
We are right now in breakout rooms.
Okay.
There's 4 minutes, and the question that we posed was, what ripple effects caused you to show up here today? We're simply just tapping into what was it that made you show up today. You could also ask it, if blank x didn't happen in the past, you wouldn't be here today. So that's the same way to go about it. So maybe Samantha, would you like to start out?
Well, it's quite amazing, right? If you think about it, it's like you could go all the way back to being born and all these decisions. I mean, it's just, and what happened before. It's yeah, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things, a lot of weird things. They all happened, and it all like converges here. It's just miraculous to me to think, and how we even ended up in this room together. So you know, it's just do you want specifics? I don't know.
No. You can share exactly what's in your mind or in your space.
Yeah, we have 2 minutes.
I think you're right. You know, it's a total coincidence that I get to talk to you, because if Gabby hadn't dropped out because of connection, it wouldn't have happened.
Right. Yeah.
True.
So, Gabby, what would you pick to share if you had to focus on something that made this happen today?
I would say the continuous attempts to try and land a job and nobody calling me back has brought me here today.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's in that space?
With the what?
What's going on in your life?
It's just I keep trying and trying to get a job, get some sort of stable footing, and life just wants me to float a little bit longer, it seems like.
Wow, so you went there without a job. Good for you.
Oh yeah.
Good
I went
for
on a
you.
whim.
Way to go. It's exciting and terrifying at the same time.
Yes, definitely. And thank you, Henrik. I got your email, so thank you for being a reference for me.
No problem. So hopefully somebody will call me. So,
yes, hopefully. How about you, Henrik?
What are you looking for?
Honestly, anything within the agricultural industry right now, that is, helps the food system, improve the food system, basically.
Did you have a chance to look at that farmer time link that I sent you?
Yeah, I took a brief look. Yeah, it looks really interesting. I think it could potentially be something that could be tied into something I land in like later on, or can help bring into like the school system, because there's quite a few programs out here that have gardens, gardens on the premises of their schools, so that might be something that they can tie in as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back bit by bit to the space from the breakout rooms. So I will set them up again, Adam.
Yep.
Why don't you
And this is
allow to?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So thumbs up, down, sideways. What was that? Did we enjoy that?
It's too fast.
Very much. Yes, it was very
Yeah.
fast. Really enjoyed meeting Felicity.
Sarah, are you able to hear in the group space now, or was it just the breakout?
Yep, I can hear fine out here, but it's
Okay.
not.
Well, this is just so perfect. So Sarah and I couldn't hear each other whatsoever, and we ended up just calling each other. But this is what the next part's about, because another key element of this program is how we actually celebrate what's unfolding when we connect. We celebrate what we're discovering, and we don't just celebrate what feels good, what's flowing. We intentionally celebrate the friction. And in sitting with that together and getting really curious, like friction it's like a discovery. We've discovered that something is there. That's that gray space. And then when we go there together and we get really curious, nothing short of magic unfolds. So in the next, we're going to go out into breakouts again, and you can talk about what that experience was like just that experience of being together and talking about this, or just celebrate what flowed and where was there friction, and just get really curious about that space together. Okay. And we're going to be at the same people again, so that we'll see the intention is that we're building here. It's not like a one and done thing. We're building relationships, and this is intentional. Okay. Sarah, I'm going to call you.
There you are again.
All right. Are we still? I have a feeling we are. We're still at a thumbs up.
I'm just kidding. Just
So the questions are powerful, and I'm just the flow from here. Just so we know, is we're gonna share a little bit right now, and but we're gonna have space for our after party afterward. And just Henrik, in case I forget, there's a question that Sarah brought up that like literally gave chills in my body. It was questions are powerful, so I've just put a note in it for our in the after party to throw it out to the group.
Okay.
So yeah, before we tie, this essence that kind of I hope we all got a bit of a flavor for. Before we tie it into kind of what that looks like in our programs, how did this feel for you? If you throw yourself off mute and yeah, how did this feel for you? This is our first time doing it, so and that feedback loop would be wonderful.
Well, Brooke and I really connected. So yeah, we could just talk for us. So like, so we, you had to get out of the room every time. So we're very aligned, I think, with our values and what we love in life, and yeah, curiosity and things. So it was really fun, to be honest. I mean, I was really inspired to be on this call anyway, but I'm really buzzing and excited and just really enjoying the vibe. It's really, really nice.
I concur.
Beautiful. Thank you. Because this is an experiment. So please.
I have to say, at the beginning, when it was only 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, I only got 5 minutes with Gabby. So as it built, it's like, oh, good. I mean, you just get to continue on, which is nice, because the 5-minute thing is always so annoying to me. And then so it really was 15. So that was great as it just kept building. So
Yeah, I like the build up a lot more.
Would it have been helpful to share at the beginning that we'll have a build up, or as it is, like, how'd that feel?
Gabby, please.
I think it would be helpful, but at the same time, maybe not after the first one. I think you saying it after we did the first 5-minute session or 4-minute session, then it's like, oh, okay, we do have some more time. We're building up, because it helps us keep on track of what the time is.
All good. This was an experiment, so
Yeah. Okay. I'm just taking a note of that. Wonderful. So yeah, so we've got a mix of folks on this call, some who have gone through our discovery program already, some who this is the first time hearing about it. And so there's 2 programs here that we're going to kind of share about. And one is our discovery program, which is essentially our Leading with Love training program. Like, how do we bring this way of being into connecting with our food system and connecting in general? And then after that is and you can go through that program as many times as you want. There's so many different settings that one can apply that. But then we have our accelerator program, which is bringing this essence into a project. And so that the accelerator program's open now just to people who have gone through the discovery program at least once. But the flow for both programs is the same, actually. So 6-week program, and we meet once a week and online, but it's broken down in the same first 2 weeks, middle 2 weeks, last 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks, we go inward, and I'll explain more about like what it means, difference of programs, but we go inward for the first 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks is about going outward, and the last 2 weeks is about coming together for the collective and sharing the stories emerging. But so in the discovery program, what that looks like is we're going in and kind of grounding ourselves in our food ecosystem and how are we actually reframing and seeing the positive ripples unfolding and going inward to prepare for the next 2 weeks of actually going out and having a curiosity conversation. So not an interview where we're putting someone on the hot seat, but a curiosity conversation with someone in our food system. That's totally up to you who that is. And we'll be celebrating the friction, the flow, all of that together. in that process. And then the last 2 weeks of what did we discover, and doing that together as a group, and then putting that out there and inviting others to hear those stories. With the accelerator program, what that looks like is the first 2 weeks is what celebrating the positive ripples unfolding right now. Like, where are we at with your project, your idea, your concept, where we're at, and identifying kind of those key questions that are in our space right now. The next 2 weeks are focused on how do we actually apply these principles, these curiosity conversations, how do we apply that to moving those questions forward and going from wherever we're at now to moving that forward using these principles. The last 2 weeks are great. What did we discover? What does that mean for our project, our initiative, and where do we want to go from here? And then likewise, we get to share that. We get to share what we've discovered, where our things are going, and everyone in this space, that kind of that open sharing that happens, especially at the end. That's a public invitation we put out for people to attend. And what that does is opens up the space for potential advisors, for potential contributors, people to say, hey, I'm inspired by what they're discovering, what they're doing. I want to connect. Part of their story resonates with me, and it's just an opportunity for even more positive ripples to happen. So with that kind of high level, I want to pass it to Henrik to share more about kind of the logistics of things and the expectations from us and for you and all that fun, all that, which is just critical.
Just going into the logistics here, we are meeting online, and once a week. We say the meeting is like 90 minutes, but really it's 60 minutes. And then that's where we have the content. And then there's space for what we call the after party. And that's, the juicy stuff where we get to know each other and really chill out. So just for those that are a very busy calendar, 60 minutes is what's needed, and 90, that would be just extra. And just like Adam said before, it's needed to go through the discovery program if you want to join later the accelerator program, etc. So just for what's going to happen next now is you'll all get an email after this with a survey. In that survey, we're going to ask you to tell us where you are and what days of the week and what hours during the day you could possibly join these meetings, and then we'll have a puzzle to put together. And please, if it's possible, to have the survey done by the end of Friday. Then we have a way of getting this started, because the discovery program starts out the week of the 30th of January. And for those who are interested in the accelerator program, that will be on February 6th that week, where we're starting out with that program. And so during next week, approximately on Wednesday next week, we'll be having an email coming out confirming days and hours, etc., with materials. So that's what's coming up right here after this meeting. Any questions about that that part of the logistics so far? Just raise your hand or jump in case. So I will then try to share my screen. Let's see if that works. Is it possible for you to see a page where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Henrik, I'm not sure. I think there's the different document you want to try to share.
So
do you want to?
Can you do that, Adam? Because something is
I'll share my screen, and
please. So it's just for the practical parts about how we go about it in the weeks, just to set some expectations of what you can expect from us.
Can you see
And
that?
yep, it's on the screen. So basically here, the challenge in this discovery program is putting what we are teaching into practice. And so it is a challenge because this program, I've heard quite a lot of people say this is weird. It's definitely different from what would be business as usual. So coming into this program, don't expect things to be just as ordinary. It is about going beyond our comfort zone and going out and we want to create some changes and some ripple effects in this world. So we will be challenging ourselves in this program. But you can also expect to have full support while you're in this program from your facilitator, but also from your community, because you'll be joining in on a whole space of people that have gone through the program before, and also your colleagues that's going to be in this group. It is really a place where we try to support each other as much as possible, because when we are going out beyond our comfort zone, we're probably going to experience some friction, and so it's really important that we support each other in this space. And this is also a collective experience, and this is a community of like-minded people, and this is what we try to create. We are trying to create community here. So enjoy that space and reach out and make as many contacts as you possibly can. One more thing is that it's meant to be a relaxed atmosphere. It can be quite tense to go out and try to have a conversation with somebody that you don't like. And if we screw the whole thing up, if friction is happening or anything, know that this is a space where we can be ourselves and hopefully also have some fun. That's so important that we keep our energy up instead of going down. And so for supporting us in this journey, we have a lot of samples for how to write an email, how to hold the conversation, lots of inspiration from other people who have gone through the program before for how they, what their experience was like. And so you can go and check all of those stories. Adam, can you go to the next page, please? So then we have some expectations from you as well. And one of the things that we have in this program is that 90% of life is showing up. It's really important for this to be a success, that we are on time and we show up. That's pretty much all we're asking, that we show up. It's needed for this community to work, that we dedicate this effort to be part of it. And so one other thing is that when we're going out and experiencing friction or trying to get beyond our comfort zone, that we are supportive of each other is really, really important. And when we are in these spaces, when we talk about climate, when we talk about many of these issues of environmental stuff, etc., you may encounter people that have a different opinion than you. And so it's really important that when we are in these spaces, we practice this also among ourselves, to lead with love. That means that we are going out there being curious about what's in that other person's space. It's not needed to go and tell that I'm different or I disagree with you. It's really important that we hold that space for each other. So again, it's a collective experience that we built together. And this last thing about being present is really, really important, that we have our camera on and we are engaged. It's also why we're doing the breathing in these when we start our meetings, because many of us, we have meetings just before, we have meetings right after, and there's a whole bunch of things going on. And so trying actually to settle in, to be engaged, to be present, that's half of what's going on actually. Because if we want to be supportive of each other, we need to actually be present. And so It's just to set the expectation that if you think you can show up and turn off your camera and keep working on whatever you got working and just listen with half an ear, it's not really working. So please pay that respect to your peers in this program by being part of it, okay, with your heart. So there's some just some brief things here I would like to go through as fast as possible. It's important to understand here that this program is not you just show up and we'll deliver everything to you and you just go boom, 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 boom. What you put into it has really a lot to do. Like, for instance, how much would you like to challenge yourself? Just going out and talking with somebody that you admire, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. We need to start somewhere, and I recommend doing that there. But you could also challenge yourself to go out with somebody that you simply just don't know anything about. And we could hopefully get to the point as well where we dare to go out and talk to somebody that we disagree with, that we disapprove of. And so, you know, how much we put into this is really affecting how much we can take away. What's the effort that we put into it? Also, for instance, if we're filling out a survey, we put a lot of effort into putting the right questions, and it's all about that internal process of reflecting. Gives you a lot to take away if you put that effort into actually filling out the surveys. One important thing that Adam was touching on as well is that this is a program that's in evolution. We don't have all the answers. We are evolving as we go based on the feedback that you guys give us through the feedback in the surveys, etc. Any kind of way that you would give us feedback, we will keep evolving together based on your experience. One more important thing to say is that we celebrate flow, successes, but also the friction and failures. And that's really important, because if we're going out there and we discover friction, it means that we have encountered a growth opportunity. We have a way of expanding our boundaries and evolve. And so it's just to let you know that, you know, if you encounter friction or failure or anything, we encourage that, you know, just share that in the group, and that's how we grow together. And about that self-reflection in the survey, I touched on that. And being active in the meetings is what makes the difference and makes it a good experience for everybody. One more thing to mention is that please use the opportunity to reach out to your facilitator. Beyond what is happening in the meetings, just for getting aligned, asking questions, clarifying anything, we are here to help you. And so use that as much as possible. And it is our gift to you as well, if you encounter friction in this space, that you can reach out for a psyche session. That's what I do as a facilitator. I offer this as a gift. You can take it if it speaks to you, but use it as much as possible, because if you encounter friction and if you encounter, let's say, buttons that was pushed and anything that's in your space that you would like to change, getting your subconscious aligned with what your conscious goals is really a good idea. So if that speaks to you, and if you encounter any friction in this program, reach out and let's support each other. Then how big do you want your impact to be? You going out and learning this program, learning how to lead with love, building on the positive, being curious, gratitude-based learning. If you learn that, you will have such a big impact in this world, no doubt. And even if you in this program reach out to somebody, have that curiosity, and make that other person feel that you really see them, you hear them, you maybe appreciate them, etc., then you have impacted one more person in this program. That's amazing. I mean, if you just 2 people, wow. But there's a possibility here for going even further. So if what you experience in this program, whether that is a personal insight about yourself, something you learned about yourself, if it's something that you learned from that farmer, if it's something you could say life in general that you learned through this program, how about telling that to the rest of the world, right? Because what you learn here is something very, very important. And if we could share that, whether that's in a poem, in a YouTube video, it's an article, we have spaces where we can start sharing this between ourselves here in this program, between all the other people in Farmers Footprint, and the whole world, including in a YouTube video maybe. So we'll encourage you in this program as well to try to practice how to cause these ripple effects on a bigger scale. And so the last point here is next level. You know, you can repeat this program over and over. And how about challenging ourselves more and more each time? Sometimes I say it's like reading a book 2 times or 3 times. You just pay attention to more details and really become familiar with how to implement this, how to bring it to your own life, privately, maybe in the workspace. It will have so many positive ripple effects in your private life, that's for sure. You could also use this as a stepping stone for getting into the accelerator program. Maybe you have a dream, maybe you just have an idea, maybe you have a project, anything you would like the support of a group to help you get moving. That's where you can go after participating in this project as well. So I think we can stop sharing the screen by now and open up for questions. If you have any comments, anything that's in your space about what we've been sharing so far. We'd just like to have a feel for if you right now think, hey, I know what this is all about, or is there any questions or doubts? Please share. Brooke, if you had to join this program, do you feel absolutely comfortable what this is all about?
I do. And quite honestly, one of the things that I feel I would want to do is actually have a meeting with somebody that completely disagrees with everything that I believe, because I see that growth in the friction. And I think Felicity and I were actually talking about this, and I think it's a wonderful gauge for where we are in who we are and who we are being. If we can actually be with somebody who disagrees with everything that we believe. And I'm up for the challenge. I really look forward to doing that. So, because I am really up for finding out what I learn, and you know, if I can succeed, if I can actually, you know, turn that person, you know, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so yeah.
If you are for a challenge like that, I can promise you, you are one of the new leaders in this world.
Oh, well,
That's for sure.
Thank you.
But I would like to ask maybe somebody else, any comments or questions about what this program is about and how it's going to unfold? Do you feel ready to sign up, or is there friction in your space?
I think what you've set out is fabulous. It's really clear and concise and heart-centered. It's lovely. So kudos to you guys for creating it and, you know, what you've done. And yeah, it's interesting. I was mentioning to Brooke yesterday, I was having lunch with friends and sharing something that I'm doing, and and they were sort of like pull back. I could feel them energetically, and a couple of the ladies' faces. And you know, I'm okay with that. So in the past, I probably you know, perhaps that would upset me or I'd take it personally, but I feel like I've grown a lot and it doesn't trigger me. Do you know what I mean? I really don't mind. So it'd be interesting, I guess, depending on the situation. Maybe it depends on how attached you are to it, you know, if there's conflict. Because, like, you know, my brother's really religious and I don't have his views, but I'm okay for him to have his views. It doesn't bother me. Do you know what I mean? So I guess it depends on how that impacts your life or how that impacts how you view things, or yeah, it's hard to explain. I guess I'd have to be. I'm not as triggered about things as I was, if you know what I mean. So
Right.
it perhaps would be interesting to go into that next level and be triggered again. But because I mean, I feel like I'm in a different space at the moment. So yeah, it's just interesting. But yesterday, you talking, sorry, I could see yesterday that was the old me. You know, the reaction that they had was the old me, but that's not my new version of me. So yeah.
Just one little hint or tip. If you meet with your brother, if you can come from a place of, hey, I'm really curious about why he is like he is, not for the sake of him changing or anything like that. That will make us attached to the outcome. But
yes.
if you can come in from that space of, hey, I could grow by learning from somebody that is so much different from me, then you just come from, and that will shine through, and that would make that meeting a success.
I mean, I get on with him. I don't not get on with him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's an example.
But thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So before we hit the top of the hour here, could I ask you to reflect upon, wouldn't it be amazing if, if we took this program and applied it where or how, and how do you see ripple effects happening from this program if this or that happened? If we could just go around just asking, what are you taking away from this program here or from this meeting today? You see, Samantha?
I'll go first since this question always causes me friction. I liked what you said. Yes, I liked what you said earlier about if this is just a group of people getting together to check off your list, but if we're friends supporting each other, that's what I really did like. Even in this short time talking with Gabby, I got to know way more about her than I already knew, and which was sweet. And when it's like a focused time, it was a good deal. So I just think the more I come to these, the more I connect with Brooke. Now Felicity and Sarah are new faces for me. It's like exciting to think about, oh, I wonder what's down the road in getting to know them, and then what's the connections that'll form there. So that's, I don't know if I answered the question, but that's what excites me. That would be exciting if it was, it really is. I'm watching it happen already. So it's very cool to be part of.
Perfect. Maybe Sarah, could I ask you?
Sure. Samantha, that was really sweet. I look forward to getting to know everyone too. And also sorry about being in like a creepy dark room. Just really fast. I have this thing where like after sunset, I kind of use like orangey lights, or I'm one of those weird ancestral health biohacker nut jobs. So I'm usually like after sunset in a kind of dark room. But anyway, yeah. So I think that this group, like what struck me about it, why I wanted to be part of it, is that so it seems to me like everything has become politicized these days. And I've never been into politics. Like I'm one of those like more anarchist people, if anything, but a lot of my beliefs fall on like the far right and the far left. And to see like my group of friends and how different they are, if you look at them politically, and how you could put everyone in boxes of, oh, if you think this, you must be this, and I was talking to my boyfriend about it. I'm just like, how is everything politicized? How could it be? How are certain things that have nothing to do with politics that now? And I just see people who can't even communicate anymore. And I think because I've had the experience of like, being on both spectrums and having people there, I've just learned how to like kind of pick up on why it seems like these people can't communicate and where they're coming from. And it's a lot of not being curious. It's a lot of just being so grounded in your own like crap, and I went to law school, and one of the things they tell you is that learn the other side before you be the lawyer for the other side before you do your side, because you can't really know where you stand unless you know everything about the other side. And so I don't know, I think the world would be such a better place if everyone was like look at what the other side thinks. The worst that could happen is you like change your mind Or you're like, no, screw that. I am more rooted than ever where I stand. And you could feel better about that, knowing like, hey, the next person who wants to argue with me, I have even more to say, you know, like factually. So I don't know. I just think it would be really beneficial for everyone and get people back to this like part where you can just communicate regardless of like these basic political divisions or things that on the surface may keep you apart. And I don't know. I think it would be great for the whole world. Sorry, that was
It's
kind
at
of a long
least
answer.
hard to see the downside to it, right? I can't find one at least. But we're at the top of the hour. For those who'd like to hang around and continue with the after party, you're so welcome. But anyone who needs to sign off, would you like to close with a few words, maybe? Or everybody's good to go? Continue? Seems like. Or Adam?
I will, because this is a thing that I'm learning to do. Is we have a 5-month-old, and just like Sarah, you know, when the sun goes down, things happen. We, at the end of the day, it's like at 4:30 my time, it's like a hard, like it doesn't matter what's going on, close the computer, go out with family. And so we want to get these surveys out to you guys. I need to finish those surveys before that 4:30 hard stop. So I want to be present in the after party otherwise. But this was just I'll share that. Wouldn't it be amazing if it just, I think I know why Samantha struggles with when we ask this, is because the wouldn't it be amazing if is already happening. Even just today, it was just, we've always gotten the feedback of like, once I'm in this, it's just, it has a feeling, but I don't really know what to call this. And we like started calling this a certain, the impact discovery program. And then it's like, it's flowing in what is, this is, is it leading with love training? Is it what, I don't, it's getting wherever it's getting there. And just, just grateful that everyone's here. And
thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
See you around.
Alrighty.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Adam. Thank you so much.
Bye, Adam. Great chatting with you.
You too. I'll see you in New Jersey in a couple months.
Beautiful. Oh, wow. Connections happening. So the word is free. The floor is open for whoever wants to dance. What's in your guys' spaces?
Sarah, I'll just speak to that. Why is everything so politicized? I just saw a Facebook post. Facebook is, Facebook, but it was just a picture of Yosemite a month ago and today, and it was just showing all the snow that had fallen. And oh my gosh, it just went into, and those liberals in California don't know how to manage water and everything's going to flood and blood. And then everybody's fighting. And I'm like, wow, can we just look at the beautiful snow in the mountains and just be happy? And it was wild. And why, through all of COVID, we're separated, right? It's like, how come? I just thought maybe we'll realize we're all in this together, that this affects everybody, whatever is going on, the wildness, we were all in this together, the same thing, like globally. And so it's just like for me, I've been practicing it, trying to look at things without sides. Just, this is how it is. And we're all people. And what can I learn from you? And so it's just fascinating how just watching the division, what can we use for division? A picture of Yosemite, of course, it's just crazy how everything is used as this tool for division. And so I think maybe a little part of my participation here is trying to figure out how to bring things together, regardless of views and whatever. We're all just people trying to figure it out. That's really it. So,
and something too with that is, everyone thinks they're right. I've said this before. It's like each person thinks they're doing the thing that will save everyone. No one is like, we'll say with the whole COVID thing, people on one side weren't trying to kill everyone. they just, they genuinely thought they were doing the right thing. And then everyone on the other side, they weren't trying to do. So I don't know. That's a key thing I try to remember. We're all people, like you said. And like everyone is, I like to think at least most people are trying to do what they think is right. They just, what that answer is totally different. And like to figure that out though, that you both have in common, just you want the world to be a good place. Just, you'd see it differently how that should go. But yeah, thanks for listening to me, guys.
I've been traveling the world enough to know that 99% of anybody I meet on the street is a good guy. You can basically trust anybody you bump into. There's 1%, but far the most people are, in general speaking, good people. And so, just like you said, we all trying to do our best based on information that we got, experience that we got, etc. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with trying to open up to, just like you said, Samantha, that there's another side. And I don't know, maybe I was simply just blessed when I grew up, because I grew up on a dairy farm in Denmark. My parents had 60 cows. It's like a full-scale dairy farm at that time. But both of them were school teachers as well, full-time. So I had books and piano in the literature, opera, all that side of, you could say, culture. And then you have the farms, dialect, practical work, really both sides presented at the same time. And so, yeah, I could see as I took the education as a farmer, but also as a mechanic, just the farmer bringing the tractor to the mechanic. I could understand where that farmer is coming from, because I know his world and his way of thinking. And then you have the mechanic who never worked on a farm, couldn't, there's friction in that space because they're not speaking the same language. They don't understand each other, and those are two people both in a practical world. Now, try to imagine a college, university professor and a farmer, even further from each other, right? It's really important to have that mindset of, it's just another world that I don't know, right?
Well, that's a good point. Yep. Just another world I don't know. And yeah, I think it's interesting what you say, Sarah, about everything being politicized, I guess. But our heritage is being brought up in a world, that's has a lot of male energy, and to be right and to ticking off lists and very, like go, go, go and achievers, or, or you're the other side. But it's all about being right. And like, so saying like everyone's fundamentally good, but you don't know what you don't know. And if you're not curious, like part of me being here is because I'm curious. I'm a curious learner and always have been and always will be. So yeah, like I think that's challenging when you're with people that aren't curious, because we're really a like-minded tribe, and it's really interesting to be challenged to, like you talked about, looking the other side as a lawyer, or that's really interesting. I didn't know that, and think, wow, that's what an amazing education, to be taught that when you're studying. It's interesting.
And it's just in such a small thing as, it doesn't have to be somebody from a complete different perspective. It's just being me in a space with Brooke, let's say, and you start telling me something, Brooke, and I would start suggesting, hey, do this, do that, right? Instead of, just taking the time to ask 2 or 3 questions for deepening my understanding of what's going on in Brooke's world, right? But I would instantly go into, hey, you should try this. I know this works or that works, suggesting before I actually have a really profound or good understanding of. what's in Brooke's world, right?
So I have a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Brooke.
No,
Yes.
go ahead. It was just one thing. There's so many things that we've discussed and so many layers to everything that is being contributed here. But one of the things that just immediately came to me, Henrik, with what you said, is that I have a mother who never, ever got into her children's lives. She always was telling her children what they should do. And I remember as a young child thinking, why should I listen to you? I don't want to be like you. And I had a lot of these, just to me, they were common sense questions about things that were going on. I'll give you a very simple example. And this was me as a teenager. My mother would say, I'd do something and she'd say, you shouldn't care what anybody else thinks. And then, another thing would happen. And she said, well, what will people think? And I was like,
right.
this was what I grew up in. And so I completely discounted and knew that I had to make and think for myself, because what I found is that I thought very differently than what everybody, what I was being told I should do, think, and all of that. And as I got older, it was very obvious to me that this is a program. This is absolute programming. Now, in the past years, this entire what they did with the whole Trump thing, and then with the COVID thing, and with the Biden thing, me, it was just very clear that this is making manipulation. This is 100% manipulation. Of you use the media to program that. So in all of this, it's and what you were being one way out, just not or the other. That is, to me, is not really big, because it's programmed and being to give up right. Oh my God, the whole world opened up. So I just wanted to
Brooke?
people are not being taught to think, use their head. Oh, yes. Did I
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, thank you for sharing. Sounds not that good, but
Sorry.
thanks for sharing. We got most of it, I'm sure.
Okay. Sorry.
Just passing it to Samantha.
Oh, I was just going to say, have you, any of you, Brooke, have you done this before? Have you done Discovery program? Sorry, she's frozen. Okay. So what?
No, I
Okay. So, and I'm assuming Felicity and Sarah, you're new. So I've done the Discovery thing 3 times, I think. 3 for sure, maybe 4. And now I've signed up for this accelerated thing. I really have no idea what we're doing, but it's so I fell in the first go round for the Discovery. So I just was gonna say, if you guys have any questions for somebody who's actually been through it, feel free to ask me. You don't have to ask me now. You can message me or whatever. But so yeah, I've kind of done the deal, and it's pretty wild and exciting and weird. Like Henrik said, it's weird. But it's so rewarding to get to know people and all over the world. And so anyway, feel free to ask me anything whenever.
Yeah, can I ask you something? Oh, sorry.
Yes. No, I'm sorry, not right now. No, I'm
Okay.
I'm joking. Yes, go ahead.
You scallywag. Well, I'm just curious if you've done the Discovery 3 or 4 times, then you're looking at committing to an accelerator now. I'm curious, why is that? Why have you not done the accelerator before?
Well, they just started it literally, like
I
was talking to Adam after I don't even know, all these meetings are running together. So I just said, hey, do you have a project that you need help with? And he's like, well, funny you should ask. We're starting the accelerated, and do you want to give it a whirl? And so there was friction because Adam is very professional, and he has language because he is a professional that I'm like, ooh, you're calling this a project, but this is seriously just my life. This is just what I get up and go do, And so it's kind of trying to put it into a structure, but not really, and all that. So we're figuring it out together. I may not be one who's saying, I want to, like Gabby's looking for a job, something in food systems and making, I'm working at a farm that I found in my first go through the discovery program. So I've been working there for months and months. And so this farmer and I have developed a good relationship, and he's giving me more responsibility and that type of thing. So we're talking, like me being more intentional with my learning about specific plants for growing or processes that we're trying to learn, like tomato grafting or just basic composting on a big scale, so just putting a structure like that so that I have, and then the list isn't too long that it turns into this overwhelming thing that I don't want to do, little bits of, and what's more important now versus what can I look at later, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how, so I started at that farm and then had a little sidetrack into a chicken farm in the second group, and then went back to him to the farm, trying to develop, all these things and everything just kept unfolding so quick and organically with the farm. And so it's been just amazing to just be open to showing up and going, okay, let's try this. So so that's kind of where I'm at with the accelerated.
Thanks for sharing. So was it like a time commitment thing? You didn't want to be like, you'd be overwhelmed if it was too much. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're interested in committing to a project, but it could be overwhelming if it's too much time.
No, I mean, my life is just, it's just, I have no schedule. I mean, what I do is I moved here a year and a half ago and decided I wanted to grow food, never grew anything in my life. And just found this farm and grew some food in some friends' yards that let me just experiment. So, so I've kind of taken myself out of the system, so I feel like having a project feels like I'm going back into a system, but it's, I mean, but Henrik and Adam are not the system, so it's me and my hang up with language and what that's meant to me before doesn't necessarily have to mean that now. And so I'm a little bit of a hippie, so it's helping me focus in places that I need to focus and to be helpful and most helpful where I am. So.
Thank you.
But it is really curious, this thing about our language, right? I mean, the minute you put a word on something, so many people have these associations and so many people have those associations. And it is really a challenge to really level with people and understand where they're coming from and what's in that space. But what I wanted to say, why Samantha is such a success story, she kept showing up. It's not, I mean, most of us would do a program like this and then, now that's done, okay, move on to the next. I can't emphasize enough how much difference it does to repeat. Actually, like, going to the gym, right?
Mm.
You go the first time and you think, okay, now I'm going to judge the results based on one
Session.
one show up.
Mm.
It's okay. You might be asking too much,
Mm.
And it's the same thing with the psyche stuff that I do. If you want to try it out, please go for it. But if you expect a complete revelation and revolution and in your life from just one session, okay, sometimes we succeed in that. Yep, I have seen that happen. But maybe it also takes showing up a few times before you get those results that would really make it worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why some people who've been in these programs, they hold back and they're a little shy, and then at the end of the program they like, okay, I would like to try. Oh, bummer, because then the program's over, and while you're in this program, it's for free. You can use it as many times as you want, but then because time was up, now it was only one. So it's just go to it with that mindset of, hey, this is similar to going to the gym.
Okay.
So
and I was very fortunate because the connection I made with this farmer was just perfect. Other people in the groups I was in, they went to just trying to show appreciation to a person, a restaurant owner, and they were like super suspicious, like, who are you? You're the food inspector, and it was like, so it doesn't, I'm not going to say I'm more fortunate or whatever. It's just what it is. Sometimes it flows, and it's just, what can you learn from it, even if it's like not what you expected or wanted it. And I don't think that person's experience was, it was harder, I think, you're just trying to be nice, and they can't even, but you don't know what's in the other person's space or in their life and all that. So anyway, I'm just so thrilled that I made the connection that I did, and I'm just in awe every day that I'm growing plants that I'm growing kohlrabi. I've never even heard of kohlrabi, before. I'm growing peas. I'm so excited over peas. It's very funny. It's just such a simple, sweet little thing I'm getting to do.
But the thing is, that's why we say, in this program, we celebrate flow and friction, right?
Yeah.
Because when you encounter, say, somebody who is totally locking down or think you're a food inspector, whatever happened, there's an opportunity in that experience. That's why we call it a growth opportunity. You have a chance of being more, going beyond those limitations you had before. You encountered something that caused friction, right? So again, it's not about the outcome of that farmer going from GMO to regenerative. It's about you having that experience, whether it's a good one or a bad one. We can use that to expand. And so,
and I'll say one more thing. The cohort relationships were always fantastic. So even if the thing that you do sucks and it doesn't work or whatever, you still have 3, 4, 5 other people that it's just like, it was so meaningful. I didn't want to go to the next group because, oh no, I feel like I'm losing the first one. And then the second one was great too. And I kept in touch, so it just builds, and it's just, there's so many parts of it that it's not just you going in to go do this thing. It's you going in to be part of that small community, to be part of the bigger community, to learn something. It's all these parts, and they're all just fantastic. So I can't say enough.
I love, just like, this is my first time hearing you say anything, and I'm getting from you such a vibe of like, you will, if you have something you want to try, you go for it, and then you're all in. Like, you're just fully present. You're there. You take in everything. Like, you like bask in everything you can get from it. And I love that. Like, that is so, there's something like childlike about that. I'm not calling you a baby or anything. I'm just saying, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
No,
that is something that, like, you, it's just even the way you're talking about it. You're like, oh, I just decided to grow some food. I'm doing this. I met this person. Like, when you're open to everything, which it sounds like you are, you're gonna just, like, I don't know. I feel like you're manifesting this stuff or something. It's really cool.
well, you just live. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's because I'm a little bit older and life's happened and like you just learn like I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to live through people, doing the program like like Brooke's talking about. It's just like I have a luxury right now of a cushion of whatever, and I'm just going to milk it for everything I can right now. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate that.
It's cool.
Going to add my 2 cents because I've watched and followed Samantha and consider her a friend since we started. And I can honestly tell you, I have watched her blossom. I mean, just absolutely shine through this process. And it has been so heartwarming to see. And I just love her. And she's wonderful. And I just want to pass that on because I so excited and I
Well,
get to see her. Yeah, that applies to a lot of people in this group. Thank you.
yes, it's the power of the group. It's absolutely the power of the group. And that has been, I wrote a long thing not long, I did a post on Farmer's Footprint for recently with the picture of a bowl of soup and wrote a story about this group. The Friendly Friday group got me through the holidays, which was absolutely not going well. And it was just the outpouring from this community was, it gave me hope for, I don't know, I was really down and it really boosted me up. So there is power in the group for sure.
Thank you, Samantha, for reminding me. That was one thing I actually forgot to share. We have this space that we call Friendly Friday. And, when people have gone through this program, they sometimes express this, oh, it's finished, it's over. I mean, how are we going to stay in contact? And so we didn't really have a proper space for that. You can repeat, but maybe people were too busy or something, but how could you just stay around? And so we have this space now that we call Friendly Friday. So every Friday on a different hour, for those who can, they can just show up, chill out, enjoy the space, connect with another amazing human, and keep vibing. It's a space where you can, share your losses or your disasters, or you can share also your successes and find some inspiration in other people. Just hang around. So you'll get access to that space if you are in this program. Because what we find useful is that those people in that space, they know how to speak this language of leading with love, gratitude-based learning, leading with curiosity and building on the positive. So that's a space where we'll keep practicing as well.
Thank you.
So.
I'm going to have to go, I'm afraid. I have so enjoyed this, and it was so wonderful to meet you, Sarah and Felicity. I really enjoyed our conversation and look forward to more. Samantha, as always, and you too, Henrik, always. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, Brooke.
Bye.
Bye. I actually have to run too. I have another meeting at 8, and I have like a couple of things I have to do before then. So
absolutely.
But this was so great.
Nice.
It was so good to meet all of you. Henrik, we've met before, but yeah, thank you for having me, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Nice meeting you, Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So,
All right.
well,
Yeah. I'll let
Might
you
be.
go too.
Yeah, we all will jump off together.
Yeah.
All right. It was
I
good
love
to see you,
Okay.
Felicity. I
Good
was
to
going
meet you.
to ask you, did you go to that Farmers Footprint meeting? It was yesterday at 2. Well, it was at 2 my time. Did you do a Farmers Footprint meeting yesterday?
Me?
Yes.
Oh,
With
no, I didn't
Inez?
know that. Oh, I had a, yeah, I went in the group one. That's right. I'm losing track of my days and time, but yes, that
That's
was
okay.
yesterday.
I was,
Because your time's different to my time.
yes, right.
So my time's in the morning. Yeah. So
Right.
yes, it was great. Yeah.
Good.
Mm.
I was going to go because I haven't connected with them for a long time. And I saw you there and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go.
Right.
Again. I'm laying in
Yeah.
bed last night going, I missed that meeting. So anyway, I'm glad that was good for you.
Yeah, no, it was great. Thank you very much. I'm really loving the community. It's a really nice vibe. I was spewing that I missed out on the one with Zach. I saw that. I'm getting used to the Mighty Networks. I've got it on my app now and just it's just getting familiar with things.
Sure.
And yeah, so anyway, I'll just tune in more and see what the notifications are and see what I can opt into and be partaking on. Yeah.
Right.
So lovely to
right.
meet you.
Yes.
And thanks, Henrik.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
Take
right.
care, friends.
Sure.
We'll
Thank
see you
you.
around.
See you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.